Chris, it's BAMMA World title time, the featherweight title at stake, and the first man to make his way to the cage is the French Frankenstein, Damien Lapilus.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Belfast to an evening of non-stop title action and mixed martial arts entertainment. BAMMA 28, and the first challenger here tonight, the Frankenstein, back to do business in the division, and more importantly, Malcolm, to right a recent loss.
That's right, but when we look at his BAMMA record, two incredible opponents, really showed his class there for different reasons. I mean, he took out Jack McGann, who was really on the way up.
Damien Lapilus looks spectacular in derailing the hype train against Jack McGann with a rear naked choke. Looks jacked, in shape, an exceptional weight cut here tonight. Expect an aggressive and in-tune Frankenstein.
Fought for the title before and really gave the champion Martin Stapleton so much to think about until the unfortunate DQ, but he really showed his class there against Stapleton.
Excellent finishing instincts, quick, technical southpaw, fast chambering, in and out very well off combinations. Expect a very difficult and unorthodox stand-up technique.
Now, you mentioned the recent loss. It was unexpected. We didn't think it would happen, but he said, it's forgotten, I'm over it already. And he really meant it. He said, I've just learned from it, it's in the past. Do not think that will distract me from this title.
It was a quick roadblock in a track of top-notch success from 2015. So a slight disruption, but he believes he's back here in the winning ways tonight, and we'll see if he can deliver the goods come time for the title.
And more importantly, he's cut down, hasn't he, from lightweight? This is a new weight for him, featherweight.
I think it suits him very well. He looks really solid here at 145 pounds. We expect big things from the Parisian here, and what a chance it is, live from the SSE Arena for BAMMA 28.
Frankenstein is in the building. Well, Chris, we go from a horror icon to a Marvel hero. It's Iron Man, Ronnie the Iron Man. And as mentioned in the pre-fight interviews, this lad has been around real experience.
After a sensational arrival to BAMMA at the Night of Champions event in Birmingham last year, Mann is back tonight to wow the crowd with an elite bag of skills. And Malcolm, if we look at his KO performance over Graham Afterburner Turner, perhaps a few tricks as well.
Turner was highly rated. People said that was a very even contest going into it. Mann made a mockery of that, didn't he?
And after that highlight reel of highlight reels, Mann took some time off, but has increased his capacity in all areas. Expect a patient counter-striking game plan from the outset. But more importantly, don't forget about the grappling. He will pay attention to the wrestling, and it could be the difference against a very difficult guy on the feet, Damien Lapilus.
And he said, I'm still learning at 30. The day I stop learning is the day I stop competing. And he's even more impressive, he says, with his striking now. He said, you thought that was good last time. You haven't really seen my striking yet.
Sean Tompkins trained, one of the greats, the Canadian legend. I also like the lower body attacks from this guy, the tackles, the takedowns, the power double legs. So if he can catch Lapilus out of position, he's also got that option as well, which more importantly, he used the wrestling to set up that big right hand against Afterburner.
Well, in terms of the striking, Lapilus has said quite bluntly, he won't match me on the striking, it won't be tit for tat, I'll be striking, I'll be striking, I'll be striking. But you know what, when they're in the cage, we're gonna find out what about this is gonna be.
Anything can happen, folks. It's time for BAMMA 28.
And if we look at these two warriors, Mann is slightly the older and slightly the more experienced. Lapilus will have the height advantage, so it's the Iron Man determined to test Frankenstein's mettle. But can the Frenchman deliver a monster performance of his own? At stake, the BAMMA World title. Let's go to Buddy Johnson to get this one on.
BAMMA 28 at the SSE Arena here in Belfast, Northern Ireland. We are set for 3 5-minute rounds in the professional featherweight division. This is a title fight for BAMMA's Featherweight World title. Introducing your first challenger, fighting in the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in officially at 144.4 pounds. He has a professional record of 14 wins with 7 defeats. All the way from Paris, France, he is Damien Frankenstein Lapilus. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, your second challenger for the title, standing 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in officially at 144.6 pounds with a professional record of 25 wins with just 8 defeats from Bristol, England, Ronnie Iron Mann. When this championship action begins, your referee in charge, Mr. Mark Goddard.
Okay, gentlemen, you understand the rules. You're fighting under a list to me at all times. Keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. Touch gloves. Let's do this.
So this is it, our first big title fight of the night. The World Featherweight title for BAMMA here in Belfast. And 2 ice-cold performers, Chris.
2 challengers, folks, on one epic evening with 3 belts on the line in the main card proceedings here tonight at BAMMA 28. We are going at it here in Belfast.
A really hard, fast kick off the rear leg from Lapilus. He said, my southpaw stance, my movement. If Mann thinks it's going to be tit for tat, it's going to be me doing all the work. He won't be able to live with me upright.
The speed from Lapilus is important here, but the patience and experience from Mann is also key on that side. And that's exactly what Mann is banking on right now.
Well, as I said, this is amazing because Lapilus said my striking ability, but we've seen already the hand speed of both men. Lapilus said, I will be in and out, I will strike, I will be back out of range. It's going to be a hard night for Mann until I finish him.
And we've seen quite a bit of this tonight, the open stance matchup, the left foot forward versus the right of Lapilus. Mann in orthodox, Lapilus in southpaw.
And as you said, as we saw earlier, it's hard to get inside for the shorter opponent with the speed of the tournament. That's exactly what Ronnie has to do. He has to get inside Lapilus, but be wary of when he steps in, but he's not stepping into that big left hand.
Showing off the oblique kick, or in savate terms, the chassé. Nice stuff there from Lapilus. You can see Mann loading up on that right, though. He pulled it. He's showing it, though, and that's important. He'll gauge Lapilus' reaction, audit, and exploit. That is the technique.
Well, you talk of exploitation. Lapilus said, watch my movement. I will exploit the rigidity of Mann. And that was a huge left leg to the midsection of Mann. And he really felt that, Chris.
Excellent connection there from Lapilus. Mann turtles up. That one ripping to the body. Mann in trouble. Mann with the invert. Looking for the legs.
Chris, it all came from that huge left round kick off the rear leg from Lapilus. Mann stumbled and fell, and now he's in real trouble as Lapilus has put all his weight on him. Trying times for Mann now.
Mann is a legit black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and right now you are seeing him go for the grappling here as Lapilus smashes those hammer fists, Malcolm.
Hanging on for dear life now, the Iron Man, as Lapilus in control, looking for those downward elbows. Got to be careful where he lands them, Chris.
Right now, referee in charge, Mike Goddard, looking very carefully here at the action.
Mann had to twist away, Chris. He had to twist away there. The power of Lapilus on his elbows. Desperate times for Ronnie Mann here.
And when both hands are connected to the leg like that, he's not defending. What he's banking on right now is that he'll be able to complete here. Of course, the gamble being the damage inflicted.
Yes, I mean, constantly now those elbows, the amount of times he's taken punishment to the head, and here it comes again from that right arm. Mark Goddard steps in close because these are a lot of headshots here, Chris.
And Lapilus now pouring on the pressure with a huge knee and then goes in for the double leg.
Mann looks to time up. He needs some respite here. He's just not getting it.
And what I like from Frankenstein is not letting Mann off the hook. He's not giving him a chance to breathe here. That pressure is key. The effective striking and grappling also there, but the pressure is paramount against a guy who's a wily veteran in Ronnie Mann.
Chris, the pace of this opening round, we're inside only 2 minutes left. It's just flown by, and it's been all Frankenstein.
Right now, though, what Mann is doing is he's using an open guard here, as well as some good grips to try and make an attack. It's going to be tough right now with the posture of Lapilus.
He's got to consolidate. He's got to get himself back into this.
He's throwing the legs up, though. He's got a lot of options here. I like it. It's aggressive from Mann, but right now that's all he's got.
Yes, it was a huge start from Frankenstein. Damien Lapilus, and in ascendancy here with just over a minute left. Mann, to his credit, though, took some incredible shots to the head. That left leg to the midsection, and he's still there. That's the point.
Lapilus putting his weight down right now, staying heavy, and making sure he watches when he's got one arm in. Mann thinking about the triangle. Mann forced to turtle up. Lapilus here with great control from the side. Big knee to the body.
Oh, that knee to the midsection. Mann has already taken so much pressure and punishment in this opening round. But when we talk about experience, that's another element of it. Because of his experience, somehow he is still there.
I like the fact that he has slowed down the pace of the assault from the Frenchman. Lapilus, though, being very careful here. Mann has that submission technique to always preserve him, the ultimate equalizer.
At this precise moment in time, Mann just needs to get to the end of the round and regroup.
20 seconds on the clock. And Lapilus, it would seem, would like to try to get out of that overhook position. I like how he's putting his weight forward into Mann, maintaining wrist control with his left arm, and then goes right to the punch.
Pure experience has kept Mann in this.
And right now, folks, the 10-second clocker's gone. That's the end of the round. One in the books here at BAMMA 28.
What a start from Frankenstein, the Frenchman. He set out his stall. He said he was going to hurt Mann. He said he was going to move. That movement set up that incredible kick. That's the one that Mann tried not to show it, but he couldn't help himself. And then Lapilus was all over him, Chris.
Lapilus doubles up beautifully there and then goes in.
The amount of elbows here, Chris.
Devastating shots here. Mann holding on for dear life, doing everything he could. And you can see Goddard looking very carefully. That was probably the closest he was to stopping this one there in the first.
Chris, you preempted me. That was so close, wasn't it? He looked in so closely, but Mann somehow held on.
Mann's certainly a track record as a survivor and a guy who knows how to get the W. He's got 34 fights in his professional career. I'm really curious to see how they regroup and respond against a very successful strategy from the Frenchman in the first.
Yes, big, big round for Damien Frankenstein Lapilus. Ronnie Mann is still there coming into round two, but you wonder how much Mark Goddard will let that go on again if they reach a similar situation, Chris.
Well, they are back on the feet. Mann looks pretty refreshed. I know that he finds it a lot more comfortable at 145 rather than 135. Cardio is a factor when you're cutting weight.
And as we said, Lapilus, we mentioned prior to them coming into the cage, would be so strong at this weight. And I think that showed the way the kick almost cut Mann in half.
Particularly from that stance. When you've got an open stance like that, that rear kick to the body is open. And that definitely found the bullseye twice in a row there from France.
Well, this was the problem for Mann. When he has to look to step in, that's when he took that kick. It's a hard thing to do when a man is so fast with his reflexes and brings that leg up so stiffly without any backlift. Getting in is going to be a real problem for Ronnie Mann.
It almost comes at a 45-degree angle as well. Very efficient. Not quite the same power level if he turns into it more, but it gets there and back quicker.
And with that speed, Chris, it's also dangerous for Mann to look to come in for the shoot, isn't it?
Absolutely. Moreover, the knees as a threat from the Frenchman. Right now, though, a little bit more of a patient start from Damien Lapilus. Mann undoubtedly looking to pull the counter.
Well, this is the thing. I think Lapilus learned from the first round. He knows Ronnie Mann's got to get inside. He knows he's got to try and reach it. And his reflexes and his timing proved the perfect counter to it. So I think he's got every reason to think I can be patient, lure him on, and then react to him. It worked so well for him in the first round.
There's several ways to try and counter your opponent. One of them would be obviously striking after you see your opponent commit. The other being preempting the strike, as we saw Mann in his last one, or at the same time. Low blow there from Lapilus. Time from Mark Goddard. The Frenchman off to the neutral corner, and we will see exactly what the assessment is. Mann will have some time.
Well, it was just like in the first round. We'll see it here. It's exactly the same tactic from the first round, except this time you saw it was lower and hit the wrong position. I don't think there was any malice there. It was just simply doing exactly the same as he did previously to try and build on that. It just strayed low.
Absolutely. Skimming off sides there. Mark Goddard explaining to Ronnie Mann that he can take some time. Lapilus obviously having a warning. Also encouraged to stay in the neutral corner there, Malk.
While he's got this time, when you look at him, what can Ronnie do? Because he's finding it so hard to get in. If he risks the shoot, that leg can easily become a knee. Lapilus's reactions are so fast. He's waiting to counter Ronnie Mann as he did in the first. You wonder where Ronnie's way in is, Chris.
One of the things that the Mann camp talked about was knowing that Lapilus is very elusive and mobile, so they figured they were going to have to walk him down a little bit. But the problem is he's standing in front of Mann right now as a stationary target. I think that's been problematic. He needs to change that strategy.
And again, every time he doesn't, you're right, every time he doesn't, that left leg of Lapilus comes floating up to the midsection there.
The overhand right, just a moment ago shown by Mann. Lapilus shook his head. I think that's a really wise strike. Again, he goes for that. That was going to be my subsequent point.
Yes,
Mann
you're right.
doing the right thing here. He's certainly taken a little bit less damage thus far, but of course a little bit less aggression from Lapilus. Big kick from Lapilus.
It's that lack of backlift. He just swings it straight up and it goes right into the target. And it's making it a tough time for Ronnie Mann in there to get any momentum going forward. As you said, the overhand right, if he can close the gap, I think is the weapon. And he did say one right will finish this. Getting to that position on a regular basis like now, he must commit fast and hard.
And Mann goes in for the takedown. Lapilus with double underhooks, able to shrug that off. Thought about ducking under to the back there. Mann defends beautifully. You can see him trying to fish in for a whizzer there. I like the way he's threaded his leg. He's got multiple options here. Thinking about the judo, a little bit of Uchimata there with that leg in between both of Lapilus's. Lapilus stuffs it though.
And it's at moments like this, Chris, when you see them like that against the cage, that the weight difference might really be a key factor here.
Without a doubt, and it's energy efficient as well from Damien's point of view. Obviously, cutting a lot of weight can mean that the gas tank grows smaller at the cost of that physical advantage. But if you fight smart, you can go 3 hard rounds.
Well, he had a very good opening round, no doubt about this. Mann has taken far less damage here in the second with just over a minute to go. But has he also done enough to get back into this? It's a world title, Chris.
Mann, I think, at least showing that right hand, which came close several times, is moving in the right direction, but it's not enough, and I think that's the point.
Yes, we're inside the last minute, and Mark Goddard's seen enough. He wants to break them up and get them going again, and Mann needs to launch an offensive in this last minute of the second round, because he's only got 1 round left, and this is for the BAMMA World title.
In a 3-round title fight, you cannot drop a round. No doubt on Mann's mind right now. Again, the hand fighting being shown there. Very typical of an open stance matchup. A little bit of a battle for the lead foot position as well. Snap kick from the rear from Lapilus, very effective.
What do you make of his change of tactic? He's been happy to sit on that back foot, look for that rear leg, wait for Mann to come in and just negate him. Is that a man that says, I've got the first round in the back, I think I'm taking the second round?
Perhaps also energy conservation mode. He's working the body beautifully with that kick or the snap kick, both. Again, the snap kick to the midsection with the toes up and the balls and the feet up like that. It's effective. And accumulative over time can be fight ending. Great round here for both men. It's going to be an interesting one in the third, Mal.
Yes. At the end of the day, though, you feel that Lapilus is operating within his comfort zone.
Without a doubt. And a man who had a lot of submissions on the record before he came to BAMMA has really done the right thing to work a reach advantage in his favor, use the kicks, but kick intelligently. Mann really only getting close to a takedown on one occasion there, Mal.
It's a hard night's work for the Iron Man, but I feel now, looking at him in his corner, Chris, he must go for broke here in the third. He must ask questions of Dominic. You heard his corner say 5 minutes of work. I agree with them totally. I think Damien Lapilus has been very calm, very clever, allowed Mann to come on and then countered before he got there. He's actually sat there going, you've got to take this to me now.
And we will see how that goes. Folks, you're tuned in to BAMMA 28, live from the SSE Arena here in the Titanic Quarter of Belfast. Round 3 of our first world title fight on tap here everything on the line. It's Mann versus Lapilus.
Mann looked to his corner and nodded to say, yes, I've heard what you've said, I'm going to go for it now. And he has to. He has to risk that wicked left leg. He has to risk that movement to get inside and work Lapilus. And that right hand could be the key, as you said. Getting that overhand right to whip him there when he gets inside, but that's what he risks. The knee comes up, so he can't afford to shoot. It's a hard night's work.
He read the body kick and tried to check. It's certainly better from Mann, a more urgent setup from Mann. Again, though, the kick to the body was very, very nasty.
You heard that one, Chris. It sunk in there, and then the left hand as Mann comes forward. He's got to go for broke, but taking risks also leaves him open, doesn't it?
Mann continues to pressure forward, more so than the first and second stanza. Snap kick again from Lapilus.
It's been a tactic that works for him. It's been keeping Mann at range and at distance, making him think. And it's also been hard and hurtful, as we saw in the first round when it virtually dropped Mann and set up what I felt was the defining moment of this bout so far, that really dominant opening round.
Certainly chewed up the midsection of Ronnie Mann. But right now, Mann, again, a possible golden opportunity here to get a hold of Lapilus and put him down. A lot of time on the clock, but the back take possible here for Lapilus. Thinking about rolling through there, but Mann gets on the right side of the scramble. Let's see what he got.
Once he's here, he really has to work now, but again, he's hanging onto that foot. Lapilus back up, and it's, again, frustrating times for Ronnie Mann here, as Lapilus just seems to have just the right answers at the right time. And you mentioned before that Mann conserves energy so well, being warned about where those elbows are being positioned, I feel, by Mark Goddard saying, look where you position them. But he's conserved energy so well tonight, hasn't he?
It's been smart, particularly coming into this weight class as well, without proven results. The last, of course, being at 155 pounds at BAMMA 25 for Lapilus. The one thing I like about Mann, though, was the commitment to the shot, the reshot there. He didn't get it once, twice. I wasn't sure whether he was able to complete, but much better for Ronnie Mann here.
Now, he's just been told by Mark Goddard, I want to see something happening. And for his own sake, he's got to show something happening here, hasn't he? He's really got to show some dominance in this last 2.5 minutes of this bout. And can he get the back? Can this be a turnaround for Ronnie Mann?
He's got one hook in here, Malcolm. This is much better, certainly working to improve the position at the behest of the referee's orders. Mann may be looking for a choke here, Malcolm.
And don't forget, this is the way that Lapilus announced himself against McGann, with the rear naked here, which is what Ronnie is trying to set up, and it will be an incredible turnaround. He's got 2 minutes left. If he pulls off this submission, it'll be an incredible win.
Granted here a chance. Mann trying to take advantage, using those punches to open up. I like that. And now what he'll try to do is find passage underneath the chin somehow, whether it's from those strikes or whether it's the way he'll control.
He's getting
Mann.
those hooks in, Chris, and again, he's slowing his man down. Lapilus now, for the first time, is under pressure. Could this be a real turnaround in fortunes for these two fighters?
Mann putting in work here, trying to solve the problems of Lapilus' defense on the back here. Mann has skills everywhere, and although the fans were certainly captivated by the KO last time at BAMMA, you gotta remember, he was a grappler first and foremost throughout his career. And right now, that could be the difference.
And we did mention expenditure of energy and how clever and how careful Lapilus was, but maybe he's just beginning to feel that pace now, with just over a minute for Mann to do something here and take this title.
He's got options. The silverware is on the line, Malcolm, and he is going for it. I like the way he hooks the leg here. I'm curious to see whether he's going to go for the arm lock. He's got to be very careful not to compromise himself by being too aggressive too quick.
Well, here's the problem for him. He's got to be careful. He can't afford to be too aggressive. But Chris, that clock is ticking, and this has been the best portion of the bout for him so far. He must maximize that.
I like it. Right now, he's thinking about trying to make an attempt at flipping Lapilus over. You see the way he swapped his shin to the back of Lapilus' neck. Now he aborts, goes back to this control point. Now back to the reverse side of the neck here. He's going to try to flip him over and roll through to this arm lock.
He's got to do it soon. We're inside the last 20 seconds now, and I feel over the 3 rounds, Damien Lapilus might have done enough. It's been a really good finish to the round. Dogged determination from Mann, but I don't know whether that's going to be enough for him, Chris.
Conditioning is everything here. Not only is it the cardio when you're moving on your feet, it's when you're holding on for a submission lock, because the moment you gas, you give up a position, that can be the end. And there is 3 rounds here in the history books for the BAMMA title. Malcolm, what a fight.
Yes, we will have a new BAMMA World Champion here in Belfast. When we return, Buddy Johnson will make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to our scorecards. Our judges scored the bout 29-27, 29-27, 29-28 to your winner by unanimous decision and BAMMA's new featherweight champion of the world, Damien Frankenstein Lapilus.
What a performance by Damien Lapilus. Paddy, you were talking me through that fight and you telling me how much of a cerebral fight it was, how clever each fighter was being. Let's look at that first round first of all. A brutal kick from Damien Lapilus.
Absolutely, that was incredible. From the southpaw to the orthodox side, the weapons are always going to come off the backside. And you have to be careful whether you bring your elbow down or whether you bring your elbow up. There we have this position behind the headphones, just right beside the long strip behind the back of the head. You cannot hit down to it.
But Ronnie Mann did well just to survive that first round, just to recuperate, and again it was survival mode throughout.
The experience is carried on here, and then you see Ronnie Mann on top here. That man is tough. He's been in every situation in a fight, so he's equipped to go with it. Here we go with elbows to the side of the head as well, all legal.
That's where that experience really comes in for someone like Ronnie Mann. But Damien Lapilus, really a deserved winner tonight. He played that absolutely a stunning fight.
I take my words back before this fight. He was absolutely incredible. And as a big guy, I thought I seen him starting to slow down after the first round, but